House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy now saying that if Republicans regain control of the House, they will not make impeachment of President Biden and administration officials a priority. Good for him. I've talked about how absurd it is to threaten every administration official over policy differences, not accusations that these individuals engaged in illegal or improper conduct to benefit themselves personally, but just over disputes on border policy or the economy. Impeachment is supposed to address high crimes and misdemeanors. Leader McCarthy telling Punchbowl News in an interview just published, quote, "I think the country doesn't like impeachment used for political purposes at all. If anyone ever rises to that occasion, you have to, but I think the country wants to heal and start to see that the system actually works." Yeah. And when asked if anyone in the current administration has risen to the level where he would consider impeachment proceedings, McCarthy responded, quote, "I don't see it before me right now. You watch what the Democrats did. They all came out and said they would impeach before Donald Trump was ever sworn in. There wasn't a purpose for it. If you spent all that time arguing against using impeachment for political purposes, you got to be able to sustain exactly what you said." Yeah, good for him. I mean, it's true that some on the left spewed impeachment nonsense in the early days of the Trump administration. But they were a very small minority until the Ukraine call became public with President Trump asking President Zelensky to open an investigation of Joe Biden and then the January 6th impeachment. And regardless of what you think about those impeachment efforts, the accusation was that the president was trying to improperly benefit himself personally. But there are many Republicans who want revenge, saying that if they take the House, they should shelve legislative policies and get right to impeachment. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene filed articles of impeachment against President Biden and actually wants it to apply retroactively, claiming abuse of power during his time as vice president years ago. Greene has introduced 5 resolutions against Biden. She also made headlines this week for sort of giving McCarthy advice/warning on what to do as Speaker. She said, quote, "I think that to be the best Speaker of the House and to please the base, he's going to give me a lot of power and a lot of leeway. And if he doesn't, they are going to be very unhappy about it." I think that's the best way to read that. And that's not in any way a threat at all. No, of course not. It's just a reality. It's the way like mobsters talk. It's not a threat. It's a reality. Greene at this point has made talk of impeachment routine.
We cannot have a president of the United States that is willing to abuse the power of the office of the presidency and be easily bought off by foreign governments, foreign Chinese energy companies, Ukrainian energy companies. So on January 21st, I will be filing articles of impeachment on Joe Biden.
We all know Joe Biden is corrupt, right? And Matt knows me really well. Yes, I do have articles of impeachment drawn up to submit tomorrow.
He's planning on selling more oil out of our strategic petroleum reserves, again, starting in October. So I'm introducing articles of impeachment against Joe Biden on Monday.
Yeah, you name the issue. It's impeachment. There's also Congressman Matt Gaetz, who said impeachment ought to take priority over everything else.
We don't engage in impeachment inquiries to get the documents and the testimony and the information we need, then I believe that our voters will feel betrayed and that likely that could be the biggest win that Democrats could hope for in 2024. And we can do that without the Senate and without the White House. And that's why it should be investigations first, policy, bill making to support the lobbyists and the PACs as a far, far diminished priority.
Since January 2021, Biden has been the target of 9 articles of impeachment. 2 resolutions have been aimed at Attorney General Merrick Garland, 1 each against Vice President Harris, Secretary of State Blinken, and Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. This is not just a fringe effort. I mean, the impeachment resolution against Mayorkas had 31 co-sponsors. And look, of course you can disagree with Mayorkas' decisions and comments and what he's done or not done at the border, and still recognize how absurd talking about impeachment is. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.